session of the Ware County Board of Commissioners, Monday, October 28th, 2019, at 3:00 p.m. Again, with a roll call vote of commissioners, beginning with Commissioner Nelson. Present. Commissioner Horner. Present. Commissioner Pope. Present. Commissioner Carter.
Present.
And the chair is present. Let's stand for the invocation that I'll do with Commissioner Pope. Ask him to be the pledge. Heavenly Father, we just thank you, Lord, for another day, a beautiful day that you've given us. We thank you for the breath of life, Lord, as we assemble here today, Lord, to discuss business of our community, Lord. We ask you to be with us, Lord, and we want to do things that's most pleasing to you most of all, Lord, and to help our citizens in any way possible. God, I ask you to be with us, Lord, throughout the remainder of this day. Give us traveling mercies wherever we go today, Lord, and we humble ourselves before you, and we thank you for the breath of life, and we give you the honor and the praise for it. For we ask it in your wonderful name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in our pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming. You got a nice breath. We like nice breaths. See how you governors run. Thank Ms. Myra, our editor, or not editor, but newspaper lady. It ain't the Waycross Journal Herald now.
Yes, it
It's
is.
still gonna be the Waycross Journal Herald, okay. And Ms. Jennifer Herzog, our attorney, we thank her for being here. We'll get right into our agenda. Item 5, Mr. Manager, you want to start off with item 8?
Before we skip, we don't have anyone that's signed up to speak.
No, sir.
Okay, item 5, tab 8 is a request from our EMS coordinator to present the safety grant and what we're using these funds for at this time.
Thank you, County Manager. Chairman, County Commissioners, County Manager, in June of this year, an employee safety grant was applied for to ACCG Group Self-Insurance Workers' Compensation Fund, where county government receives grant funding to purchase 4 automated external defibrillators, funding at a cost of $6,899.20 to be placed at various county departments throughout Ware County. After discussion, it was decided that these automated external defibrillators would be placed at the following locations: the Jim Blackburn Senior Public Safety Training Center, Ware County Vehicle Public Works Facility, Ware Fire Rescue Station 1 in the Industrial Park, Engine 1105, Ware Fire Rescue Station 3, Engine 1113, which is out on Knott Avenue. And the main justification for placing the units on the fire engines was simply that firefighters are mostly on calls in distant areas of the counties, and sometimes they're there without EMS. If one of these firefighters suffers sudden cardiac arrest, quick CPR, and early defibrillation by their colleague may save their life. And let me define what an AED is. It's a device that automatically analyzes the heart rhythm, and if it detects a problem that may respond to an electrical shock, it delivers a shock to restore a normal heart rhythm, thus saving a life.
Amen.
As safety coordinator for Ware County, I would like to thank you commissioners, county manager, department heads for all that you do for our citizens and for our county. And as I end this, I would like for those departments that receive those AEDs to come join me and let me recognize them. Chief D. Mattis, Public Works Director Michael Brooks, Vehicle Maintenance Barry Cox, and Public Safety Training Center Manager Jesse Jordan. And I know work's for money, and it didn't cost Ware County 1 cent.
Thank you. Appreciate what you do.
Yes, sir. Them 5 units didn't cost us nothing, Mr. Judge.
Okay.
Man, that's a good move.
All right, Mr. Manager.
Okay, under tab
Item
D,
B.
under tab D is a quick claim deed, for us to, for Ware County to deed the property of, abandoned cemetery to the Okefenokee Heritage Center.
Okay. Commissioners, you got any questions for the manager?
That's just the last step in the process? This is the last step.
I know this has been going on for quite some time. Those folks are anxious. We wanna be able to turn it over to them so they can apply for some grants and stuff that's out there that they can get and bring that cemetery back up to where it's supposed to be. Commissioner, y'all okay?
Yes.
What total funds that the county, when that we had spent on this, to get the process through?
How much?
Yeah.
That I don't know. I know the legal fees, I don't know if that we've got the final invoice on those, but I can get that for you. I know one time, a couple of years ago, when we first started this, there was, I think, somewhere around 3,000 that we paid in legal fees, something like that. I remember that amount, but there's been quite a bit done after that, but I'll have to get that amount for you.
Washington Heritage Center's paid to reimburse the county for all of the legal fees?
That's what they intend to do, that's what I was told they would do, whether that happens, I'm really not sure.
As we understand correctly, Mr. Manager, we turn it over to them, then it's their responsibility.
That's correct. That was,
It's
the pro- that was the
not
process, right, for us to condemn it and then take it in that fashion and deed it to them, because they were looking at applying for grants and to go in and refurbish it, clean it up.
Do I understand you say that they would reimburse us?
For any legal fees that we had associated with it.
Why?
That was the agreement back then.
That was agreement, that they,
Well, the reason I'm saying this is this organization is just about broke to begin with. And and they do so much for the community. I'd hate to see them have to pay anything. For the simple reason, it's all for the good of the community, whatever they do. I hate to see them have to reimburse the funds. If there's any way it can be handled otherwise.
I agree, Mr. Carter.
Mr. Chairman,
Just get it done.
if you'll allow me, there was a memorandum of understanding that they signed and then also the county signed. Let's pull that back up and see what that language is in there. As I recall, I think there was initial discussion about those attorney's
There
fees,
was.
but I believe that may have been changed. I'm not sure. Let's look back. Whatever it says, that's already outlined, and then we can show that to the commission, and you all can proceed as you see fit.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that fine?
Well, I just would hate to see that organization have to reimburse the money, knowing something about their financial status. And all of the work they do is for the good of the whole community, and our children especially. So, thank
I
you.
agree.
okay.
But also, the discussion was about the grants and being able to get grants that we
And I do want to clarify, this is a very, very unusual situation, given that it is an abandoned cemetery.
Yeah.
And so, we went through a very special process to get a special master appointed and, to get this through, and so I do want the community to understand that, this is a special situation because it is an abandoned cemetery.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, any further questions?
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioners, just have her clerk place that over.
Yes, sir.
Madam Clerk. Item C, Mr. Manager.
Okay, under tab C is a request from Sheriff Randy Royal for a purchase of 5 Chevrolet Tahoe Pursuit vehicles from Party Chevrolet. And I think the sheriff's here to speak to that if there's any questions.
Sure. Yes. Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners, and County Manager, County Clerk. Before you is a request to purchase 5 pursuit vehicles to replace 5 currently in our fleet. As you're aware, there's 5 allocated under the SPOS funding, current SPOS funding, for 5 vehicles a year for the Sheriff's Office. And those 5 to be replaced have been identified in this letter to the County Manager, ranging from 140,000, 128,000, 199,000 miles, to 166,000, 178,000. They're all on the verge or have reached the point their service to the fleet and are becoming a cost issue. And rather than spend general funds keeping them up, we feel like it's best to retire them out and replace them. And there are 5 vehicles that meet our specifications at Hardy Chevrolet. The cutoff period for ordering in 2020 has since passed, but they are holding, waiting for the outcome of this meeting. They will sell us the 5 they have on the lot. They've held them for about a week, maybe 2 weeks, to see what the outcome of the vehicle is going to be. But as you know, the SPOS vehicles is the sole means of keeping our fleet up to date and replacing what would otherwise be costly repairs that would be to the general fund.
And I think this is the last 5 in this SPOS tax series. Is that correct?
I believe it is. I was trying to remember earlier, but I think you're right. I think it is.
So we need to hope and pray the next SPOS passes.
If we were to pass this opportunity to purchase these 5, then we would have to order. We don't know the pricing for the 2021, and that will be sometime next year. So I think that with knowing the price and having it on the state contract, it's a wise move to go and take these while we've got the pricing fixed and know what it is, rather than leaving these 5 and having to wait to order in 2021, not yet knowing the pricing for those.
And that's the price for $166,015.
Yes, sir, that's the total price for 5.
For 5.
How close is that to our local bid? Is our local bid within 5% of that?
Our local bid cannot order any longer.
Sir?
Our local bid, our local dealership, we've passed the window of taking orders. The shutdown with GM pushed it, and then the cutoff period for order of the 2020 has since passed. So no one other than those that have them on the lot can sell the 2020. No one has them essentially. Hardy had a fleet of them because they were the state contract vendor. Our local vendor has met us in the past, last year, in the past at state contract pricing, but I think somewhat at cost or below cost.
Yeah. Well, I'd just like to see that anytime we can trade it home, we need to trade it home, especially if it's within 5%. I believe that's provided by state law. I'm not sure.
If we could order the 5, they would be interested in giving us the pricing on the 5, but we've passed the window of opportunity on the 5 to be ordered.
Yes.
Or say they shut down the manufacturer of this vehicle.
For this model year. We would have to wait
All
till
right.
next year. And that pricing is not yet established under the state contract award.
Okay.
So, and really, earlier in the year, we were not in position, we just had them just one after another.
Yes.
That's, our position has been to use the car and get as many miles out of it as we possibly can without sinking any money to speak of into it. And we just kind of had a run of transmission and motor and other problems.
Yeah, well, I know you in hot pursuit and you got a 200,000 mile vehicle, you might not be too hot.
That's exactly right. So, that's right.
Won't be much pursuit.
That's right. And this past weekend, unfortunately, was a test.
We appreciate you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
Appreciate
you.
you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
Okay. Madam Clerk. All right, item D. Mr. Manning.
Under tab D is the award of our generator maintenance bid for $8,020 to Coward Electric for calendar year 2020. this is also an option for us to renew. There was, 8 invitations of bids sent out, only 2 answered, and Coward Electric was the lowest bid.
Okay, elaborate just a little bit on the big generators, one like the one that's sitting out here, what other locations? Some of the audience will know.
Yeah, some of the others, well, we have the ones at the courthouse, we have the portable ones we have, and also the ones out at the, maintenance building. Yes, sir.
911 center.
Yes, sir. That's what I meant to say, is out at 911.
You have a present vendor?
Yes, sir.
That
Is
give
our
good service?
power.
That give a good service?
Oh, yes, sir. No complaints so far.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Isn't our unit a cat unit?
they all have.
They're all cats. Is this fellow, they were a cat dealer?
Yes, sir.
They've had the contract before and provided real good service as far as service.
That's good.
Okay, Commissioner, any more questions? Place it on the agenda. Okay, Madam Clerk. Item E, Mr. Manager.
Okay, tab E, is approval of authorization, resolution for approval, for the filing of the section 5311 transit application to the Georgia DOT, for our rural transit program. This is federal pass-through funds that come to us, and we have a required local match of 10%. This is for fiscal year 2021 coming up.
Okay, this is just a normal routine that we have to do every year, guys.
This is an annual resolution authorizing the grant.
Commissioners, got any questions?
Those are little white buses that run around,
Yes, sir.
that work Kansas Transit on something? I understand they work good.
Yeah.
Good service.
Commissioners, y'all locate places on the agenda.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Madam
sir.
Clerk. Item F, Mr. Manager.
Okay, under tab F, is a discussion and, maybe some possible action on our, 2020 LBIG, our local maintenance improvement grant funds from Georgia Department of Transportation. I put this topic on the agenda, just to get some discussion. There's, out of the funds that we get from this grant, it's a little over $1 million, I think it's $1,025,000. And to see what ideas the commission may have on what road and street projects you might want to use this on. In the past, we used it with bridge replacement, resurfacing, and that kind of thing, but I wanted to find out because we have to have the application in by the end of the calendar year, December 31st, so I thought I would just bring this out and see if there was any ideas on how we might want to use this.
Was this the money we talked about using on that overpass on
Yes,
State?
yes, sir. This was the grant funds that we were talking about giving back to DOT to be used for the development for construction design.
Yeah. Same scenario we did on Hatchport Road.
That's correct, yes, sir. Where we basically forfeit the funds and they use the funds for various things, whatever the project calls for.
Yeah.
Does the city have a big project they wanna give to us too, to go with this?
That I don't know. I know in the past, they don't get us near about the amount that we do, but, I'm not sure if they have those funds committed or not.
Mr. Manager, Ms. Tanya Miller, yeah, Miss Miller, couldn't think of her name right off. But Miss Miller and I was talking, and I think they have funds for that, maybe, that they would pay whatever half that we paid.
They need to match what we gonna do.
Yeah, that's what I understand that they probably would do. And, I'd like to, maybe the manager might wanna approach their manager and see if that's the case. Mr. Manager, you wanna approach Ms. Miller and see if, then we'd already talked to her about it.
Yes, sir.
I would hope that they would match it. And I think that's the thing to do, is to if you put money up there, they got to somehow try to make an excuse not to be able to do it, and it won't be funds. Because the money will be there. And we had already promised, what, up to $10 million?
Yes,
On
sir.
that?
In our single county T-Splosh.
Right,
The city committed 5 million and the county committed 5
Right.
million.
Which other class are we talking about?
The US one. Business US one.
Okay, any more questions for the minute? We don't need any action on this, pending. We need to wait and see what the city's.
yeah,
Yeah.
Put in official.
yeah, I think so too.
This is just for the information
Right.
purposes, okay? All right. Item 6, Commissioner's items.
Before we get to this, I think we have a lot of people want.
Yeah.
Y'all like, I'm here for some reason. What's going to do the commission items after?
Well, Commissioner Carter,
Okay.
Nate, you got,
Yep, right.
since it's in order here, Commissioner's items is next, so we'll
Okay.
start with you.
All right, that's good. I'm glad you give me the honor. A meeting or two back, we, authorized the, manager to contact, Wolverton maybe to make perimeter road survey consultant, try to give us can you give us a report of any kind,
No, sir, they did submit the memo, it's a draft memo, they wanted us to look through it, we just got it late Friday afternoon.
Okay.
And I've had time enough to scan through it, we wanted our, civil engineer to go through it and Michael Brooks to look at it, I don't think they've had a chance to look at it yet, to see if we had any questions, and then once that's finalized, then I can send it out to the commission.
okay?
But they've got, basically what it is they've outlined the process they followed as far as getting traffic counts and analyzing those things. They do not have any map data as of yet, that's something they're working on right now, but once they get that finalized within probably the next couple of weeks, they would have that sent out to the commission to look at.
All right. And Mr. Chairman, I've been getting some calls about, fire stations. And, so I talked with the fire chief, D. Meadows. And, there's 3 fire stations that seem like the public is involved with that they'd like to see developed. And that's primarily Manor, Emerson Park, and Boggy Bay, and in that priority. It seemed like they're more for Manor than it is for Emerson Park, and Emerson Park more than it is for Boggy Bay. But, Manor, you could develop it probably for $15,000, I believe I was told. And, the, salary could be handled through, present funding that they have, I believe. What is D here? Yeah,
Chief?
D's here.
You need to come up here
Yeah.
and address these,
Yeah.
whenever it comes to money.
Either back me up or tell me to shut up.
The thing with the 3 stations, Manor is our furthest point away from Station 1.
That's right.
Then we would go probably to Emerson Park and Boggy Bay. The cheapest station to renovate in order to get it put online would be Manor. Now, funding for the renovation, I don't think would be that much. The funding for personnel, remember when we put Southeast online, we pulled one of our full-time firefighters, put it at Station 3, and we hired a part-timer. Now, in order to do Station 2, which is what Manor is, it would be nice if you're gonna have to put some more full-time people in place. That's just the bottom line, because we're having to pull from a part-time list. And if I pull one of my guys from Station 1, that's there now, that would have to reply, to go out to that station, have a full-time and a part-timer every day.
2 per shift.
You would have to have 2 per shift, but that's what Southeast is running,
2.
2 per shift.
That's right.
So, now, we did not budget in this budget year for any of these three stations. So that would be something we would have to look into as far as the funding for the personnel, because that was, yeah. Because when you called me Friday, that's when, that was the first we had kind of started talking about doing some of this. So I would, we've got our inmate crew back there. We're up to 6 inmates now. So that's gonna help, but I can't guarantee they're gonna be all 6 there for a year. The volatility of them moving is gonna be pretty, that's just up and down. So, but as far as distance wise, I mean, it's just common sense says to go from Station 1 to Manor is a long haul, just like it was to go from Station 1 to Charlton County line was a long haul there. So the maintenance of getting Station 2 online, as far as the building, is not that would be the easiest and the cheapest route to go for the next one. Now, Station Emerson Park and Boggy Bay, I would like to discuss some other things before we go to renovating those older buildings. It might be cheaper to do some other things there. But I mean, I'd love to have that discussion at a later time.
But you think the location and the condition of the buildings and stuff at Manor is sufficient to?
It would have to have, I mean, we would have to put sleeping quarters in.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have sleeping quarters, which would require 2 rooms, just like we have at Station 3.
Right.
Divided rooms. They have a kitchen, they have showers, just like most of the other volunteer units do. But theirs is, thankful to the Manor community, theirs has been upkept very well.
Yeah.
The Manor community has done a phenomenal job of keeping that volunteer station real clean, real neat, and they've done a very good job of maintenance on that building as well.
Yeah.
Mr. Emery Boyd, longtime volunteer, was there for many a year.
Yeah.
They've done a very good job on that station.
Well, we were told by people that had every respect in the world for the fire department, and that, but they were tired of us having an ember cooling system. In other words, all we do is just cool the embers down there. And we need to get somebody down there to fight fires, to prevent the destruction of property. Right now, all we do is cooling it down when it makes proper ashes. So the only way we're gonna do it is have a full-time fire department down there, because it's so far away from us. Also, not only that, the first responder, those people are first responders, that would be an ideal situation to have the people down there trained to be able to do that. If a man had a heart attack, instead of somebody having to come all the way from Waycross, they could be there in just a few minutes.
Now, we currently, EMS is not housed out there. And if you were to house an EMS, that's gonna take a lot more renovation to the structure than it would be to convert it into a full-time fire station.
Well, our full-time firemen are EMT.
They're first responders.
First responders, yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
That would be a big help to the people in Manor.
Yes, sir.
I mean, Manor's not, and I am not trying to say something about your district, excuse me, but,
Yeah.
I would like to see it be improved, and everybody else would like to see it improved. Anything we do in our county for the improvement of a certain part of it does us all good. And those people down there deserve something of that nature. So I would like to see us make some kind of preparation to get this done for Manor.
Well, it'll have to be,
Yeah.
it'll have to be in our next year's budget. Our budget we got now is already locked in,
Yeah, we'll have to see if it's,
July.
can we,
July.
well, can we check out maybe see between the county manager and Dee to see if there's any way we can wedge this thing in for Manor?
I'll get with,
And I'm
county
trying to-
manager just to see where we would be. Me and him will touch base, and then I'll let him report back
Yeah,
to y'all.
please do. You have any thoughts with that, Mr. Manager?
I
That
don't,
suit you?
well, the only concern, I say the only concern, is probably the major concern associated with is the personnel costs.
Yeah.
You're looking at probably, if you try to bring on 2 or 3 full-time people at one time, you're looking at somewhere around $150,000 to $175,000.
Yeah.
Which we don't have in our budget now, so we would have to figure out how to budget that out of what we have right now.
Yeah. Well, they used to tell me in DOT, well, you can always handle it, just kind of squeeze it a little tighter.
But the difference is, we ain't got the money DOT's got.
But we didn't either.
These folks like hell pays taxes.
Yeah.
So we got to take them into consideration.
Yeah,
I know, I was fire chief for 35 years, I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah.
How many
It's hard.
volunteers have we got them paying around?
Maynard, we're on they're probably one of the strongest that we have. We probably have 8 that respond pretty much to every call.
That's good.
I can pretty much count on my Maynard group. One of my full-time personnel lives in Maynard, and she does a great job. And we have some of our other staff here that's employed at Ware County. They pretty much, when Maynard goes out, the majority of the time, there is instances where we can't, but that's a volunteer in any district. I have great response out of the Maynard volunteers, so they're very.
What's the possibilities if this was to happen next year? What's the possibilities of hiring people and getting certified that lives in the Maynard area?
I mean, that would just be according to who would apply.
Yeah.
Who would, I mean, that would
Yeah,
all
that's
be,
what
of course,
I'm-
part of the
that's-
application process.
So it's gonna be rough hiring somebody at Ware County, on the other side of town, and driving every third day to Manor. That's pretty long stretch.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
That's hard to report.
Yeah.
Are any of these volunteers, are they trained first responders?
Yes, sir.
Yes, they have to be.
They have to be.
Yes, yes, sir.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I
Yes.
just want to add one thing, piggyback on what the manager said, about the budget. What I would like to see, because we have Southeast Station off the ground now. I would like to see hard numbers, because we have history of creating a station, and I understand what you said about maybe 150,000, whatever, but we have hard numbers that we can go by. And I think that, I don't want us to, I'm not trying to throw cold water on these embers, okay? And I believe in public safety 100%, but I want to make sure that what we do is, we can afford it. You have the state, you have everybody else who's, telling all the departments to cut, because they see forecasts of things slowing down. I don't want us to rush, not knowing hard numbers, what it took to get Southeast off the ground, as far as equipment, numbers, manpower, everything. And I would like to see that before I make a decision.
I'll give the manager and
Okay.
our proposal report and bring it back to you.
Appreciate it.
I called this morning, got some numbers from the fire department, Emerson Department. Since January, they responded to 120 calls. I guess that's EMS calls in, fire,
That's any type of call that they can call page out to.
Maynard, they've been called out 20 times since January. Boggy Bay's been called out 28 times.
Yes, sir. That's as of today, and that's not just structure fires, that's woods fire, car wreck investigations, kids locked in vehicle, whatever was paged out to 911, that's the number of calls to that district was there.
Now, Emerson Park and Boggy Bay, we've got a mutual agreement with the city. There's something going on at the edge of the city limits, the city's gonna respond to it,
Only if we call for
only if we
mutual aid.
call them.
Yeah, that's right.
And we have utilized that in the areas that's been close by, to where I'll be the first one to tell you, I am gonna get the public safety vehicle to the person as quick as I can get it to them, regardless of where it's at. If it's in where if I have to call the city station, I don't mind whatsoever picking up the phone and making that phone call. Because to me, our citizens in Waycross Ware County deserve the very best protection.
Absolutely.
And when I started this career 20-something years ago, 28 years, I vowed to protect the citizens of this community. And by calling them, I don't have a problem calling them whatsoever. We had a wreck just a couple of weeks ago that was out on the south side of town, and it required us to take our heavy rescue equipment out there, and I had to call the city to go out there and help us to catch the first wreck, and then we pick up on the second wreck. We have a great working relationship as far as when I call, they've never questioned. Same thing when they call, we don't ever question. We go help whoever picks up that phone and calls us.
So your shift captain, he's got the
He's got
authority to call the city
Absolutely.
to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Whoever's on duty at that time, they got it. Now, once 911 to notify me and let me know what we have. And, but our shift captains have all the authorization if they need help. I don't wanna make 10 phone calls and take 2 minutes when I can get them on the way. We'll talk about that later. But
Well,
they have the authorization to get whatever help they got to give them.
Public safety was my top priority when I even run for office. And I'm not gonna back down for that being my number one. Because I think the public safety of our citizens is first order of business. And, anytime we can, even if we have to squeeze off something else somewhere else, we need to see if we can help our citizens be safe. Whether it be their homes or whether it be in a wreck or whatever. And I'm not in favor of us being an ember fire department, where we go just cool off the embers. I want us to be there where we can mop up a little bit of water around after we've cooled down all that little bit of fire. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And, I'm gonna fight for these fire stations just as hard as I can, because I think the people deserve it.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay,
You got anything?
I have a thing, Mr. Chairman.
Have we got anything on Indian Road yet?
No, we're gonna discuss that in the regular meeting.
Indian Road.
Yes, sir.
And maybe CFU?
Yes, sir.
One thing another thing, Mr. Chairman, is that I've had a lot of people ask me about the changing of the hours of our meetings. That they're working people and they can't get to these meetings. And, I said, all I can do is mention it at the meeting and see what the commission thinks about it. But, I can see where it would be a disadvantage to a lot of the citizens. They can't be here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they have to come at 5 or 6. And they would like to be here when we do our working session. So I just toss that out for information, and y'all got anything to add to it, or if you wanna ask the public what they think about it, that's up to you, Mr. Chairman.
well, we changed it, well, we did, commissions way back changed it.
Yeah.
Because of the expense of keeping the courthouse open, having to pay for security. So the committee, I don't remember what commission it was, it's been 15. You remember how long it's been?
About 12 years.
12 years? I knew it'd been pretty. That was the reason it changed. And of course, we got a full house here almost.
Sir?
I said, we almost got a full house.
Yeah, I know. But, I don't know whether they think that, we'd have a lot more attendance if we had it at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever. I'm here to do the bidding of the public, and I know the rest of you are. And, I don't know how the rest of the commissioners feel about it.
I would just quarter on that, and I'd like to see if we were meeting for a couple hours, for 5 o'clock, people getting off work, at least get to meet.
5 o'clock, work session at 5.
The work session start at 4 and have a regular meeting at 6.
Oh, see.
We do it 3 to 5 now. all okay with that?
I think we need to discuss it. Just
Yeah,
to
let's
make it
discuss
go on
it.
the fly. I mean,
Yeah, that's,
yeah.
why does that?
I think we can discuss it. I mean,
We'll discuss it.
you know, and look at it, you know, and see what we need. I don't want to make a decision on the fly and all of a sudden come back later and say, no, let's try 7 o'clock now instead.
Thank you.
You know, yeah.
All right, anything else? All right, Mr. Manager,
I don't have anything to add, Mr. Chairman.
Madam
I don't
Attorney.
have anything, Mr. Chairman.
Well, that was easy, huh? All right. Everybody said, done, anybody else got anything they want to say? Anybody from Mayor want to comment on the fire department doing out there?
We wanna thank you for considering it, because it's down like a swamp out there, like you said, all you gonna.
Sir, come up to the podium where we can hear you.
Y'all can hear no better than I can, You thank y'all for considering it, you know, Mayor works hard, and those men is always there to do so much of it, and they may not get up here and talk, but like down the Swamp Road, places like that, the fire starts. Like you said, all you gonna do there, you know, bring the insurance, man, that's how much you gonna pay, cause it's not gonna do any good. The boys work hard there at the volunteer, but, you know, we need help, and we appreciate y'all considering it, and thinking about it, and appreciate all you can do for it.
I remember whenever I was appointed fire chief in '74, the only thing Manor had down there was a 42 Chevrolet fire truck. Now you got a $250,000 pumper in there. And, chief, is one of those big tankers in there? Okay.
But we
And
just
I
appreciate
always heard, and I wish every boy was here, he would be rejoicing.
Yeah.
Cause he told me, way back in the years, said, man, Manor's the last place, the last community that gets anything. And and this commission made it our business to get the first decent fire truck, and then the one you got now.
He worked hard at it, but we would
Yes, he
appreciate
did.
it.
Excuse me 1 second, Mr. Chairman, just so the clerk can have your name and information, can you give your name and address?
Curtis Hughes.
So we can keep it in the record.
Anybody else got something they want to say? State your name and address for the record. If you'd like to talk. Okay,
Yes, sir, I'll be please.
yes, ma'am, come on up.
My name is Elizabeth Hodges, right on Highway 84 in Manor. Also, I'd like for you guys to thank you very much for considering us for the fire truck, or for the fire station. But I'd also like to bring up our caution light. Our caution light was not put back in by the DOT. We have a lot of elderly, we have a lot of young kids, and we really feel like the ones on the side of the roads are not visible. And we think, well, it's gonna happen, it's inevitable. That we just would like for y'all to consider putting that back, or give us some input as to what could be done to get that back.
Can I answer that question?
Yes, sir.
When we was in Argyle doing we talked with DOT about
Sure
that.
did.
They said they do not cross 4-lane highways anymore with caution lights.
Yeah.
So they went to the 2 on each side of the town with caution lights.
I've heard that, yes, sir. But I know there's
That's
one
what they told us.
coming in the Waycross. That's got a caution light there right before you get into the school system.
On high school.
Yes, sir. I mean, it's just something that is inevitable, and maybe it needs to be a red light, because the trucks come through there at 60 miles an hour, especially the log trucks. It's gonna happen, and I just would appreciate it if y'all could just maybe take a look at it. I know you're our
Well, that's
representative.
a state highway.
Yes, sir, it is.
You know, we don't have we can tell them, but we can't.
Well, if you could just tell them, I sure appreciate it.
Oh, we told them whenever we had the ribbon cut.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. I don't know how much did it, tell them. They got
Well, one thing, Mr. Chairman, that's a primary route, and the federal regulations step in there to do a lot.
That's right.
I think that's where the caution light was moved to the shoulder. Yes.
Nobody knows my feelings about 84. There was probably 50 people killed in my fire career on that road.
Yes, sir.
And the day they said they was gonna do something about it, and And I was in Atlanta, Georgia, talking to the DOT commissioner, and looked him in the face, and I said, I wanna know what you gonna do about 84 from Homerville to Waycross. He said, well, we've been talking about it. I said, well, I want more than talk, I want action. That's $133.9 million you writing on. It started off at $127 million, but they had a lot of cost overruns and 28 bridges, so it's expensive. But you got a nice road there.
Yes, we do.
I really,
Yes, we
really
appreciate it.
Well, we all do.
It was promised by Marvin
It's a lot
Griffin.
safer. It's a lot safer.
Mr. Chairman, it was promised by Marvin Griffin in August of 1958.
Well, now you were sitting up there, you were.
I was sitting there when he done it. And, we had just widened the road from 6 miles this side of Manor all the way to Homerville, and it changed all the bridges from wooden bridges to concrete bridges. And he said, ladies and gentlemen, that we will complete this road in 5 years from here to Waycross. It took them 62 years to get it. That's pretty fast, ain't it?
He just didn't say what 5 years.
Yeah, that's right. But I'm thankful for what we got. Praise the Lord for it.
It made the route from Waycross to Manor a lot safer.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes. And we-
You was talking about you seen 50 killed. Probably in my 65 years in this area, and knowing of DOT, I worked for them for 34 years. I would probably think about 100 people that's been killed in that time frame. It's terrible because we had those curves. And ladies and gentlemen, you just can't imagine when you go to a wreck and pull a little precious little old baby out of there that's been crushed in a car wreck. I've seen it, and it brings tears to my eyes even today. Didn't even know the little fella, but he was dead as he could be. Sad day when you have to do that.
Okay, anything else? Anybody got anything to say?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Mayor?
I came on as a spectator, and, but anyway, just a short word. Again, thank the whole commission.
Barry, give her your name, man.
Sir,
Give her your.
Barry Dees, Windmill Road, man. Okay. But, we appreciate what you've been doing, and they've been working on this, ever since they took the caution light that went across the road down. I got, information from 2016, we've been working on this. And they did put the single, light on either side of the road.
Yes.
And said that when they reconfigured the road, that they would put, more permanent caution lights up. So they did, when they refigured the road, they did put them up, they put them up in the warehouse. And so we had to get, our representatives to get them back out. And we got one single caution light on either side, which I got pictures that'll show you during the day is invisible. Now, if we could get, I know they're not putting, don't want to put one back across the road, even though it has happened. But we would like the county commission and Mr. Sheriff, I'd ask you as well, the sheriff's been real supportive in our efforts to get that back, is they would at least put the double caution light like in Axon and all the other communities around. That would be more of a help.
Amen.
The
Yes.
single light we have, at night you can see it. In the daytime, a lot of times, and I got pictures to show it, you can't even tell there's one there.
Yeah.
So that would be an improvement. We would like to ask the commission if they would approach DOT and, in our support of getting at least the double one back. And also on the side roads. We never did get a caution light of any kind on the side roads, the entrance coming in 84. We have a lot of people that's lifelong members, and we would like that to continue a longer life. A warning that they are coming into a major thing. Now, the DOT will tell you that, they came and done it, they did a survey, and it wasn't justified, but they did it in January, and that's the least amount of traffic you will find. Not only is it the least amount of traffic in Manor, the road construction was underway, and a lot of people were avoiding the road because of the construction. So I've, tried to tell them, that's not a legitimate, survey. If they would come back in April, when all packing houses are in business, and all the migrant workers and part-time workers are there. It'll, quadruple.
It's busy.
Really busy, and you well know, you spent your career there, and most of you have, and Steve is our commissioner, you know how it is, and Mr. Burton, we appreciate your help. And Jerry, you've been there many times, and Carlos, you're very familiar with it. I'll also, November 9th, we have our fall festival, so if you wanna come and see what kind of traffic we got in there, come between, I think it's 5 and 8. 5 and 8, on November the 9th. We'll have at least 1,200 people, and at least part of them will be in your voting districts. It'll be a good time.
We're gonna get there early.
You're early for one parking space. And, we appreciate your help. We would ask that you would go to DOT on our behalf, and Mr. Sheriff, we'd ask you as well to go back again, and, anybody else that we could to at least get us the double caution on either side.
We will get our manager that.
We appreciate you. And
See what they'll do. I know
anytime.
we hit them up at the ribbon cutting about it, me and Steve, and I think Commissioner Carter did too.
I appreciate it, and, John Corbett is our representative. He's been working on this diligently.
We get our senator involved in it.
Tyler Harper has been working on that. Our former one of the former representatives of Ware County, Jason Shaw, was big in that. His daddy was on the DOT board, and I talked to him earlier today, and he's still supportive of us, anything that we need. I appreciate it, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. I entertain a motion to adjourn this work session.
I make a motion.
Second. A motion and a second. All in favor by saying aye. Aye. We are adjourned, 5 o'clock.